Saturday's training camp practice is in the books, and we got a pretty solid practice today. It was a long practice, about an extra half an hour than we typically see. You got players signing autographs right now, so you're going to hear all that. But you got a little bit of everything. I'm talking about it was an intense practice. Energy was much different than the day prior. You got plays on offense, defense, guys flying around. You had, clean pockets. You had sacks, collapsed pockets. So, pass deflections, other guys getting open. So today was probably one of my favorite days of practice so far of training camp, just based on that notion alone. Felt like today they knew what it was, came to work, and they really competed to the point where it got a little chippy. You had Jauan Jennings and Lenoir kind of exchanging words after locking out after a block. Then you had another play where Jordan Mason got basically tackled by Ezekiel Turner, got up, pushed him back. So I always like to see when it gets chippy on the field. I feel like that's a strong indication that there's a lot of effort out there. And typically, when you're getting pushed off the ball, you're not going to like that, or certain things will be an indication of why it's chippy. But all things considered, we had a good day today. Like, we had Brock Purdy throwing some dots. We had Brock Purdy throwing some interceptions. Great plays by the defense. Great plays by the offense. Let's start with Brock Purdy's good plays, and we'll talk about the 2 interceptions that he had as well. But he had a absolute dot down the left sideline. Deebo Samuel double covered, and he dropped it right in the bucket to Deebo Samuel for a probably 40, I would say it was like a 40-yard toss when we're talking air yards. And then there was another play where Brock Purdy hits Chris Conley over the middle. Would have been a 60-yard touchdown, 35, 40 air yards. Beautiful pass, hit him in stride. Chris Conley had a great day today. He had multiple catches over the middle. Again, the deep touchdown where he probably had about 5 yards of separation from the nearest defensive back. So he got behind the entire defense, caught it in stride, walked in for a touchdown. So Chris Conley, stock up today. And that's a good sign, obviously, with Brandon Aiyuk not in training camp. Deebo Samuel, Jauan Jennings returned to practice today. So and I think that was kind of a theme too. We got Aaron Banks returned to practice today. So he went back to starting at left guard. Brendel was taking predominantly most of the center snaps. And Dominic Pooney, man, he is absolutely got a stranglehold on that right guard spot. Dominic Pooney has not been rotating with anyone. Jonathan Feliciano back for his second day. He got more rotation at center. It was only a couple plays. I think one of the big plays to Deebo, you had Feliciano at center, Nick Zakelj at left guard. So it feels like those guys are kind of becoming your primary interior swing offensive linemen. Zakelj and Barch have been battling all camp, but I think Zakelj has the slight edge right now over Barch. Barch is still kind of making some mistakes here or there, but that's an interesting depth battle to watch. But from an offensive line perspective, Colton McKivitz, after having a pretty solid training camp so far, I tweeted about him yesterday, and I must have jinxed him because Leonard Floyd was taking it to him. Leonard Floyd got Colton McKivitz multiple times in one-on-ones and team period. It wasn't like McKivitz was terrible on the day, but there was definitely sacks given up. One-on-ones, Floyd beat him really quickly to the inside. So did Nick Bosa, just instantly beat to the inside. And then there was one particular play that I just really enjoyed. I love the process of it. It was Leonard Floyd coming off the left side, beat Colton McKivitz with speed. It forced Brock Purdy to step up into the pocket, but there was Javon Hargrave to get the sack, absolutely stopped the play. So I love that combination of the defensive line being able to feed off each other. That's why I've really wanted speed off the edge, is because if you can affect the basically the landing spot of the quarterback in the pocket, and you have to force him to step up or reset. That gives your interior guys a much better shot to clean up, and that's exactly what we saw. Nick Bosa had plays on the day. We saw sacks from Jordan Elliott. Defensive line was doing well. I mean, honestly, like I said, it was a great practice. You got a bit of everything. Offense, defense. This is totally an iron sharpens iron type practice. These are the kinds of practices that you like to see when getting ready for a long season, when you've got first string guys going up against each other, just battling it out. So it was pretty solid all the way around. Jair Brown, let's talk about the interceptions that Brock Purdy had. Jair Brown got both of them. One of them, again, we talked about where it feels like Brock is holding the ball a little bit longer than maybe he would like to. And on this particular one, he was sitting in the pocket. Pocket was slowly creeping in on him, and he's just holding it. And it looks like he wanted to get the ball. He wanted to let it rip, but he wasn't seeing anything that was open. He fired it over the middle to Ricky Pearsall. Regardless, Pearsall tried to kind of get one hand on it, went over his hand, and went straight to Jair Brown for the interception. There was also another one where it was Deebo Samuel towards the left sideline. I don't know what the route concept was, but it was Deebo Samuel working horizontally across the field towards the left sideline. Brock had a pretty decent pocket. He let it rip and went straight to Jair Brown. So either Jair jumped the route or was just sitting in underneath coverage. But, I mean, Jair Brown, man, him, Deommodore Lenoir, Charvarius Ward, George Odom's been flying around making some plays. The secondary right now for the San Francisco 49ers has looked solid. It's been one of my favorite developments of training camp. Jordan Mason running tough, Elijah Mitchell running tough, you know, Kittle making a couple plays here or there, Trent Taylor making some plays. You know, there's some really good competition going on in this training camp, and you're really getting a sense of the depth that the 49ers have, and this was good work. This was good work. Much better practice than what we saw yesterday, and these are the types of things that really make me feel optimistic about this team. Again, like Brock Purdy throwing touchdowns, Brock Purdy throwing picks. It's good on both sides. It's good work, and these guys are only going to continue to get better from it. So, again, getting guys back, Dominic Pooney locking down the right guard spot. Some good stuff today. So I'm excited to see what we get from practice tomorrow. It'll be the last practice of this block before they get a day off on Monday, and then they'll be back on Tuesday. So it'll be interesting to see if we get the same level of intensity or if they try to do more of like a wind down before the break. But overall, good practice, and liked what I saw.